I'm doing this video to show a modification I did on a 100 watt Silverface Fender amp. The schematic for this amp is used in quite a few models in the early Silverface era up until 1977 or so. They used it on twin reverb, dual Showman reverb, quad reverb, and Super 6. This is a Super 6, which I bought new in 72 or 73, don't exactly remember. This amp originally came as a combo with 6 10-inch speakers. I'm not sure what brand the speakers were, but whatever they were, they didn't last very long, maybe 2 years. In fact, 2 of them fried in the middle of a gig. It was probably a blessing in disguise because after that I cut the top off and turned it into a standalone head. The combo weighed in at a hernia producing 98 pounds. I'm told that many owners replaced the shit speakers with JBLs, which added another 15 or 20 pounds. The amp sat in storage for quite a few years until I started using it again a few years ago. It started having a few issues, so I decided to give it some TLC. First, I recapped it, replacing all the electrolytic caps. I replaced the power cord and wired it in a more sensible way, got rid of the polarity switch and the death cap, and also wired the fuse holder after the power switch instead of the other way around, which, as Uncle Doug says, is a shock hazard. By the way, if you think you might want to do this type of thing yourself, then I highly recommend Uncle Doug as a great reference source. Anyway, I checked a bunch of resistors and replaced a few. I also checked a few vitals like plate voltage, plate current, negative bias voltage, and some others. I saw that my plate current was only about 6 milliamps on 3 tubes and about twice that on 1. This does not have a bias adjustment, so rather than do a resistor dance, I decided to buy all new tubes, thinking that maybe these were so old, and they were, that they're just worn out. Well, when I plugged them all in and checked the plate current, they were all exactly 5.5. They were all exactly the same, so the bias balance adjustment wasn't going to do me any good. The Blackface amps came before this, for the twin and some of the others. They did have a bias voltage adjustment, and for some reason they quit doing that. I don't know why. So anyway, I saw a short video where a guy mounted a PC board trimmer pot to the back of the balance pot. So that's what I did, and so I'm gonna show you how I did that. This is the schematic for this amp and those others I was telling you about, the twin reverb and the dual Showman reverb. They're listed here, but this is not going to focus very well on that. It's too small. I'm not that great of a camera operator. So anyway, the area that we're going to deal with is right there where the bias balance adjustment is. You can't see it as well on here, so I got a enlarged section. And here, when I finally get this thing straightened out, you're going to see the balance pot, and then there's the wiper, and it just is connected through a 15K resistor and straight to ground. And what they did on this one was they just went from the wiper right to the casing of the pot. So what I did is I took that 15K resistor out, I replaced it with a 6.8K, and then went through a 10K PC board potentiometer and tied the wiper in to one end and straight to ground. So it's really simple, and I'll show you how I stabilized it so that it was, I didn't have a potentiometer flopping around in the chassis. So you can see here where I attached that small PC board pot. It's kind of difficult to see, but you can see two of the wiper and one of the end terminals soldered to the bias balance pot, and the other one is connected through that 6.8K resistor back to the wiper of the balance pot. I don't know if that's the resistor I took out or not. I have them laying all over the place now. So now I'm able to adjust my bias. I got it set to about minus 42 milliamps, which netted to 17.5 watts of plate dissipation, which that's perfect for me. Here are the new tubes I put in, matched set there, and I replaced all of them. And this thing should be good for quite a while. And I went into the doghouse, and as I mentioned before, I replaced the capacitors, and I put the date of when I did it, which maybe somewhere down the road somebody will appreciate that. Who knows? Well, I think that's about all I could do with this amp for now. Eventually, it probably ought to end up in the hands of a real musician, somebody that can, maybe I'll build a cabinet with a couple of 12s and somebody can really put it through its paces.